does decide to stay, and I think the reward that you would get in the end for knocking back something like that may be even greater than the initial cash that's on offer.
We start the third quarter. It's the Dogs in front. Subin brought down by Cross. Quick kick by Griffin to half forward. Bad bounce for Johnson, but Main managed to get it back to him. Out wide to Pitt. Here's Anthony. Now Main manages to sidestep Griffin. To Grover. Crunch from Cross, who hurt himself again. Might have witted himself, Daniel Cross. He's in the wars. There's Ward. Not a great handball. Sandilands did a good job to bring it to ground. Now Boyd, the captain for the Dogs, pounces, goes out wide, looking for Grant, who's wrestling with Crowley. Umpire letting it go. Good one-on-one here, and eventually Grant does get the free kick, and Crowley is not happy.
I'd love to see as Daniel Cross just shrugs off the train and says, get out the way. I'm winded, I'll just keep going as hard as I've done the whole of my career. But I'd love to see Jared Grant, who's got genuine leg speed, use it a little bit more often. And even you can use leg speed on a lead, but you can also use it to chase and put forward pressure on him. He's such a massive individual for this club.
Great umpiring there too, Das, from umpire McBurney. Waited.
It's a peculiar hold on the footy he's got.
16 goals, 6 this season. The man they affectionately call Spindleshanks has kicked a point.
Quarters, was just interesting watching Daniel Cross then. He has come off the ground, and you saw him say no to the doctor, but then the runner came out. So it's a message coming from the coaching department, and they've said, listen, mate, off you come, and he turned around and came straight off. So prepared to respond to the coaches, but not necessarily the medical staff on that occasion.
Johnson in towards Sandilands, who fights hard at ground level. Pitt. And it's nice work. And now Barlow was very quiet in the first half. From the logo, long inside attacking 50. Chance for Zach Clark. Can he gather? Good tackle, Wood, but he gets the handball. Mzungu, who snaps very cleverly and kicks the opening goal of the third quarter for the Dockers. So 2 minutes into this third quarter, the margin is back to 4 points.
He's played a pretty good role this afternoon. Tendai Mzungu as the defensive forward on Robert Murphy. We've been able to restrict Robert Murphy to just 8 possessions, and he's looked like he's going to score himself, even though that's his first goal, but has been pretty dangerous and pretty lively in that role.
Just want to highlight the kick that set up this goal. Watch Jaden Pitt. Hasn't shown a lot just yet. Look how light he is, but watch this kick. This is why he went top 20 in the draft. He went one selection after Isaac Smith, and I think he's going to be an absolute beauty for Fremantle.
Beautiful tap from Sandilands to Broughton, who's brought down by Picken. Shammer, who's also calling it a day after this afternoon's proceedings. Now Hudson for the Dogs. It's to half forward. Jones can't quite control it. Bradley, Duffield, and now Jack Anthony. Searching kick inside 50. Spasato almost took the mark. Has another crack at it. Somehow manages to hack it out. Here's an opportunity for Shammer. Head over the ball was Markovic. Zungu off to Clark, and the big fella has dribbled it towards goal and misses. Here's the Spasato kick. Almost manufactured a goal.
Very inventive. Now, Robert Murphy, who's been relatively quiet this afternoon, has had 8 disposals, but down on his average as he kicks long. Broughton couldn't take the mark. Now Griffin an opportunity. Sweeping handball to accommodate Boyd. Loops it over the top. Dalhouse now can explode. Hall runs at him. He decides to go wider to Gian Siracusa. Barry Hall wants the handball. Handball in his direction. He's got to beat 3. Oh, good tackle coming from Crowley. Dalhouse gets another opportunity. Jones can snap a goal, and he does. Eventually they worked it through, the Dogs, in their forward 50. And in the end, the goal to Liam Jones.
I reckon G has tried to look after Baz there in his last half of AFL footy. And what about Dalhouse? Just make something happen, being one of the finds of the year for through the whole AFL, just not the Bulldogs. I'm just wondering what to make of this. Sean Higgins, the sub today, should be in their best 10 players. Not sure why they'd play him if he wasn't fit.
Should be in their best 5.
Be his best 5 players, Dust. 23 years of age. What's he doing there?
Yeah, really puzzled by that, Lloyd. The only thing I can think of is more game time for the likes of Thomas Liberatore.
Liberatore out wide. Good mark, Gian Siracusa. And he's well within his range.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is that they sort of know what Sean Higgins needs to do to become an elite player in the competition. Maybe they thought, well, what we do today is give Mitch Wallace, we'll give Thomas Liberatore, Tutt and these group of players, Dalhouse's maximum amount of game time. But, yeah, puzzling. I would have had him out there from the start.
So, Gian Siracusa's got 2 goals next to his name, 1 in the first quarter, 1 in the second. Shooting for his 46th goal of the season. Western Bulldogs lead by 10 points.
So that's what is ahead of Michael Johnson, is he prepares to bring the ball back into play. A little kick to himself, then he finds Barlow. So worked it very nicely. Barlow short, dangerously fisted away by Boyd. Chance for Hinkley, was just grabbed high by Picken, and he'll take the free kick. Dogs by 10. They led by 6 at quarter time, by 9 at half time. Long towards half forward. Sandlands in front. Got a hand on it. Book of Arts at the back. Swoops on the loose ball. Now looking for Shammer, but good pressure by Schofield. And we'll get a boundary throw in 45 metres around from the Docker goal.
Rough head against Sandlands. Just swats it out the back to the big Docker. To Barlow. Picked up by Picken. Gives it to Boyd. Back to the wing. Jones. Against Anthony. Bulldogs have the numbers. There's Sandlands into the picture again. Good handball off to Main. So they've won out here at Fremantle. Crowley just pops it up. Looking for Sipacito. Wrestling with Wood. Little toe poke off the ground was by Schofield. And the Bulldogs out of danger momentarily. Good turn of speed here by Subin. Kicks to the tip of the goal square. Back of the pack is Barlow. Oh, it's a dodgy old kick. It's smothered on the line, but then he lays a big tackle on Barlow. And we'll have a bounce right on the Dockers goal line.
And what can Aaron Sandilands produce here? Can he get it back into play and set up one of his Fremantle midfielders?
Against Roughhead, he brings it back towards Hinkley. Well done by Cross, getting in there, putting his body on the line. Hill, Shammer, standing start, 30 metres. Across the face, mark taken by Markovic. Gee, that was a golden opportunity for Byron Shammer. Boyd, another disposal. And he finds Barlow from the Dogs. So, deep into the back pocket, he kicks long. Coming to meet at Anthony, up, couldn't take the mark again. A good effort from Cross. Shammer. Bradley comes to meet it. Difficult one to control, but he follows up well amongst 4 Bulldogs. Barlow to Ward, to Markovic, back to Barlow, and they work it across the defensive goal square, and Wood drops the mark. Now he's put himself under the pump, gets around Subin though. That was well done initially by Subin, then he didn't corral him well enough. Now Pitt an opportunity close to the line, and kept in by Tutt, and the Dogs away here on the wing.
Has a couple of bounces and now drives it long, looking for Hall, and that's a good mark taken by Crowley. Big build-up, but a disappointing finish there for the Dogs. And on the rebound, the Dockers quickly away. Mzungu's worked into space out wide on the wing. Now kicks to Sibasada. Nicely back to Mzungu. A couple of nice names to work with there too. Picked up by Duffield, and that's a good pass. Looking for, not quite finding Bukovac. Has a second effort off to Mzungu. Kicks into the goal square. This should be a goal to Hill. Geez, they had to work hard, Fremantle, but they got there in the end. And all the youngsters combining.
It was, and I think that the run that Mzungu provides, he just does not stop. We've seen that from the first game he's played. I think it's only his 14th or 15th career game, but he just runs and runs and runs and links up and nearly kicked the goal himself. And well done to Stephen Hill, just shook off Liam Picken there, and that'll do a lot for his confidence.
Yeah, good goal from Stephen Hill and the Fremantle Dockers, but this was one that we both looked at each other, and there's Jared Grant and there's his opponent Ryan Crowley. Now, you just have to go up with your opponent when he goes up and bring that ball to ground, and Jared Grant, spoken about him a lot today, early draft pick, got to become a good player for the Bulldogs, but you have to compete when it's your turn to compete.
Well done by Clark, strip ward of the football. Now Tutt, well tackled by Barlow, and a ball up.
Chris,
Dogs looked away there. Sorry, Andy.
Sorry, mate. You don't see this very often. We know he's had his injury problems, Aaron Sandilands, but there's some sort of ultrasound type apparatus that they've been using down here throughout the day on his Achilles and calf, and just had it obscured there, but they put him on that every time he comes off the ground and give it a good old working over.
Thanks, Andy. So, chance for Ward. Good tackle, Clark. Hill, good hands to Shammer. Kicks it towards half forward, and well done by Tutt, protected the drop zone and marks at half back. Now Boyd, another disposal, not a good one, a sloppy one. Murphy was running past, he missed the target. Now Fremantle able to tie it up, but they're going to get penalised. Two of them over the footy, and
two Fremantle players on the footy.
There you go, Duffield and Mzungu. So the free kick to Ward. This time Murphy takes it wide towards Gian Syracuse. Well done, Grover, got a fist in there. Main at half back, little chip kick, okay. Broughton, Hill, he chips to half forward. Pitt, who hasn't done a lot, but what he's done's been full of class. He kicks with the right boot this time towards full forward. Bradley up. Well done, Schofield. Wallace, Barlow. Back to Schofield, who kept going, and now Ward can put the Dogs into attack.
Not sure what to do with it. A bit messy. Back to Schofield, who's run down by Shammer. Ward has another crack at it. Off to Wallace now. That Boyd again. Long ball back to the wing. Back of the pack. Crowley against Grant. I sense Crowley's happy to see it over the line. And he is.
The rookie list has been one of the best initiatives that the AFL's brought in, I think, and Tutt's one player that he's run where Crowley outmarked Grant. I think he's a star of the future, Tutt. Just his run, carry, his goal sense. I think he's one that I'd have on the senior list next year.
Broughton tackled by Picken and Griffin.
How stiff Stephen Hill quarters. I mean, a lot of blokes going around without 100% intensity levels this round, but Liam Picken is not one of those, and he has just worn Stephen Hill like a glove today.
Well, he gets the best player every week, does Picken, and usually does a great job. I think Hill was expecting someone today, but as we said earlier, Andy, it'll be a lot easier for Hill next year once the likes of Morabito come back. Mundy's fully fit. Barlow has, as I said, a few more games into his legs after that horrible injury last year. So hopefully for Stephen Hill and the Dockers, life for him will be a little bit easier in 2012. Grant, little short one to Wallace. Kicks into space. Hall's caught behind Silvani. Dalhouse. Tackled by Pearce. A bounce just inside the Bulldogs attacking 50.
Hardly seen Barry Hall go near many contests today, and sometimes you can really play with a lot of emotion with your last game. I remember playing with Mark Harvey, and he was welling up most of the day because he was so emotional being his last game, and Silvani's played him well, but Barry hasn't got that many contests like we've seen him play with over the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Boyd shoved over the line by Hickley. A boundary throw in at half forward. Let's get back to Andy.
Yeah, Higgins is about to come on. Chris O'Schofield's the one who's been subbed off to make way for him.
Okay, so halfway through this third quarter, Sean Higgins gets his opportunity. Chance for Griffin from outside 50 to the top of the goal square. Gian Syracuse are the best bet for the Dogs. Good defensive work by Grover. And a rush behind to the Dogs. Puts them out by 5.
The other factor with Barry Hall has been he had a massive ankle surgery at the start of the year and really hasn't been able to train much at all during the week. So he's been getting through just on game time and might have caught up with him in the final round a little bit.
Hinkley looks for Bradley. He has it fisted away. Wood. Well done. Now dishes off to Cross. Picken out wider to Wallace. Into the pocket to Gian Syracuse. Grant should lay the shepherd here, and he does. Well on Grant. Gian Syracuse runs on and misses across the face. 2-2 to Gian Syracuse. And the Western Bulldogs lead by 1 straight kick.
So the Dogs a little wasteful. Second behind of the quarter by Gian Syracuse. As Sean Higgins, as Andy told us, back on the ground for the first time this afternoon. He was a substitute, a surprise substitute at the start of the game as Pearce kicks long towards half-back. Sipasato! He's up and he takes a big mark. Boy, in his first game, wasn't the best of kicks. Well done by Easton Wood, affected the smother. Murphy tackled by Grover, and he was able to force him over the line. So a boundary throw in half forward for the Bulldogs.
Liam Jones doing some ruck work here. And as Hudson comes over the top.
Taps it to Liberatore, back to Hudson. Floats one into the pocket. Tough one for Crowley. Here's Grant for the Bulldogs. Picks it up in the pocket. Well worked to Vez Premi. Great smother by Barlow. And it's a rush behind. Saved a goal there, did Michael Barlow.
And Quarters, if this isn't the best substitute of 2011, I don't know what is. Sibasato off, Bolenhagen on.
Sounds like some ice cream, doesn't it, Andy?
All sorts of connotations. And
here's Sandilands. Now Broughton. Long ball. Book of Arts is there. So is Murphy for the Dogs, having a great tussle with Mzungu. Murphy goes for a bit of a run. Mzungu doesn't give up the chase. Murphy kicks long and high, and that's a good mark into the sun, taken by Markovitz.
Kicks wide to the wing, Gian Syracuse, and chop of the arm, so he takes the free kick. Now Higgins, fresh man, he should pick up a lot of disposals. That wasn't his best. Probably one of his worst. Straight to Johnson. Silvani providing run. Hill back to Silvani. Good chase by Jones, but he kicks to half forward. Book of Arts and Wallace. Book of Arts did well to compete. Needs support. Ward getting there to help Wallace. And free kick against Book of Arts, and will be taken by Wallace at half back.
Wallace short to Wood. Not much to enthuse about this match, to be brutally honest, but it is a close one, and a close one's a good one. 7 points the difference. Game still up for grabs.
Young Mitch Wallace has shown a bit this afternoon. This is his 6th game for season 2011, his debut year. Son of Bulldog great Steve Wallace. Best mates with Tom Liberatore. The two played every year of junior footy together, and a real bright future for both those young men.
Clark to Hill to Main. You get some instructions from Hill. Oh, that's a bad turnover. Higgins collided with a teammate in Ward. Ward puts down the head, and umpire has decided I'll bounce right in the middle of Etihad Stadium.
He hasn't had his normal zing, Callum Ward, today, and you can understand that. He's had a lot of close attention around him, but a lot on his mind. Can announce this week whether or not he goes to Greater Western Sydney.
Sandlands to Shammer, looking for Bradley over his head. Back of the pack to mop up his cross. The handball comes back to Shammer again. Kicks into the pocket, crosses down Hurd again, and another lost opportunity for the Dockers.
Cross.
Has he had a tough day at the office?
He spent most of his day just either smashing into someone else, getting smashed, and half concussed, getting up again, got the nice whack in the mouth again.
Chance for Bradley deep in the pocket. Oh, gee. Pulled it back not quite far enough, but behind the Dockers.
Just that class finisher that both teams have lacked. I think the most dangerous player on the ground at the moment is Gian Syracuse. He's kicked 2 goals too, and looks the most likely to kick 4 or 5 and win the game for their respective side.
Boyd to the wing. This will be interesting. Pearce and Dalhouse. Dalhouse paddling. Need to keep his feet. Well done. Good tackle on Pearce, although Pearce was certainly up to the task. And good old-fashioned one-on-one battle there between Pearce and Dalhouse. And the fans appreciating it. They get a bounce 65 metres from the Bulldog goal.
Lordy, you mentioned how great the rookie list has been. It's produced so many good players. I think there's something in. I think if you've gone about your footy career the hard way and you've had to go back through the VFL or one of the feeder systems, then I think you value every moment you play AFL footy more. And Dalhouse is a great example of that as well.
Broughton towards Bradley, fisted away by Markovic. Well done, Barlow from the Bulldogs to Markovic. Nice disposal. Easton Wood. What do you make of Lucas Markovic, Das?
Real competitive player. I'm told that the players playing defence and just love him. I don't know if he's got great natural athleticism or skill, but if you compete as hard as he does, you've got something going for him. Speaking about competing, Ben Hudson, that is all he has had going for him. He just tries so hard. They love him at the Western Bulldogs. Phenomenal competitor, and well done to him on his last game of an outstanding career.
15 career goals.
Okay, so he can add to that right here. Nice kick coming in from Barlow as well from 48. Hudson can't make the distance. There was only 2 back on the goal line. Shammer was able to get back to support Grover, and Grover screaming at teammates to try and get them back. Wasn't a great kick. Griffin from outside 50 loads up and kicks a beauty. So the Dogs out by 12 points now. 8-13 plays 6-13, and that was all class from Ryan Griffin.
Had some great moments in this year. Ryan Griffin was putting together arguably his best season, and then I think he's had some injury concerns. A pretty quiet month about 3 or 4 weeks ago, but the class act is Ryan Griffin.
Byron Shammer's worked really hard in his last game of footy, but he's kicking at 27%. He's had 7 ineffective and 1 clanger, and on the rebound, Ryan Griffin makes you pay. So, yeah, Byron Shammer trying hard, but just turned the footy over far too often.
2 goals the difference, and the Bulldogs going to attack again through Wallace, who finds some space from long range towards goal. Just missed to the right. 13 points in front are the Dogs.
Very capable of finding the footy. Mitch Wallace had something like 46 disposals in the under-18 grand final in his final year as a junior. So he's just going to get better and better the more games that he plays.
So Michael Johnson at fullback, little kick to himself, and then kicking towards Clark, didn't put it to his advantage. So a chance for the Dogs to turn it over. Hudson, Murphy, around Mzungu. Nice deft kick into the centre. Boyd long towards Hall. Fisted away by Johnson. Front and centre. Johnson did his own crummy work. Handball astray. Higgins stripped him of the footy. Over to Hall. Dalhouse wants it in the pocket. Snap. Behind. They're putting the clamp on now, the Dogs, but just can't kick those 1 or 2 goals to really put Fremantle away.
Just see that quick give from Barry Hall. It's something that's been a trademark right throughout his career. I mean, you could forgive him today for maybe snapping that one over his shoulder and saying it's a bit all about me today, but he has always done the team thing on every occasion, Barry Hall.
Mark taken in the back pocket by Grover. Kicks to Shammer. He's having disposal number 19, but as Matthew Lloyd said, a lot of them have been ineffective. Wood. It's been good off half-back. Takes the mark. Sun shining on the City side wing.
Critical 3 minutes before three-quarter time for the Dockers. Can't afford the Dogs to get another goal.
Kicks in the Jones direction, but floating across in front. Taking the mark is Hill. Delivers to Johnson. The man who was observed earlier needs to perhaps do a few more Ks on the track to get fit for next season. Luke Darcy under that. Johnson has a bit of a stroll to half forward. Barlow. Wood again. He hadn't got much on offer. He doubles back and goes out wide. Good option. And he finds his captain again. Matthew Boyd, disposal number 28.
Unbelievable stuff. Liberatore loops it over the top to Barlow, confronted by Anthony, but gets it to Vez Premi, who off one step. Oh, nice work. Spots and finds Tutt. Now Tutt goes on with it. Oh, now he kicks it out in front of Cross. Out comes Pearce to provide a contest. Need to keep your feet here. They both fall over. Gian Siracusa, Picken, loops it back to Gian Siracusa, and handball astray. Hill comes to meet it. Hill and Picken. Picken does well, puts the head down. Straight to Shammer though, who does well this time to find Barlow. Michael Johnson chips it forward. Here's an opportunity for Bollenhagen now, who can keep going here. He can kick a goal. Bollenhagen, short one over the top, kicks it straight into Wood. This is just diabolical. Barlow to Hudson, and he finds Cross. They have butchered it in their forward 50 this afternoon.
That wasn't Matthew, come on. That wasn't good.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it's hard watching on TV, but we were here. We could see there was spare players.
About three of them.
For Fremantle. You can watch it down on the ground.
Look,
see the two blokes, and he's decided to kick when the handball was on over the top.
That'd actually be hard if you tried to do that. If you actually said, I'm going to try and not kick at one of my teammates there. It's 1 in 100 chance.
Sadler's got the tap. Handball comes to Wallace. Nicely done to Griffin. Measures the kick to Murphy, who's up forward at the moment. He's got Hall on long, and that's where he kicks. Can Bazza snag a mark here? He works his way to the front. He spilt the goodies. Handballs into the pocket to Grant from an impossible angle. Kicks, I'm not sure who to. And the mark's taken by Grover.
No doubt Barry Hall's got so much on his mind. Just you're thinking, I've got a quarter and a minute left of footy, and usually would swallow that one, but let's hope he can have some great moments in the last quarter.
Hit over to Bradley, loops it to Hinkley. Oh, too much loop, allowed Cross to come in, although the tackle illegal, and Hinkley will take the free
Crossy.
kick.
Again.
Another one. So as a consequence, Hinkley plays on, and the kick to half forward, mark taken by Wallace.
It's like a boxer slowly getting knocked out in here.
He's still down.
He's taken 10 standing 8 counts, and every time they try and get him off, he gives it to the trainers and refuses to come off the ground.
Markovic.
Well, the train hasn't got a white towel, so I reckon one might be thrown out right now.
Not with that man on screen there. He's just so hard.
Good point.
Great kick from Markovic on the left boot. Finds Murphy just backward of the wing. Long towards half forward. Jones the target. He's up, fisted away by Anthony, who's played well. Hinkley. Michael Johnson clever. And delivers as we get the siren for three-quarter time, and the Dogs by 14.
Western Bulldogs 8-15-63, Fremantle 6-13-49, 1 quarter to go in the career of Barry Hall. Let's hope for his sake he can snag a couple of goals. Daniel Cross needs a well-earned breather.